President Trump is at the White House right now, preparing to address Congress tonight. And this comes as some question whether or not lawmakers on the Hill have conceded too much power to the president, who has just placed new tariffs on imports to the U.S. and paused military aid to Ukraine. Nearly $4 billion worth of U.S. arms approved by Congress to help Kyiv in its war against Russia is impacted by this move. The White House is now reviewing how those funds are being used. And take a look at this. Global markets on the edge as the long-anticipated tariffs against Canada, Mexico and China are now in effect. Beijing hit back with levies on U.S. goods, and Canada has as well. We have team coverage for you on all of this morning. CBS News foreign correspondent Anna Coren is following the Chinese response for us from Beijing, and our Natalie Brand is on Capitol Hill. Natalie, let's start with you. What's the latest?
Good morning, Errol. Well, the White House says tonight's theme will be the renewal of the American dream. The president on social media said he will be telling it like it is. The speech expected to cover domestic and foreign policy. President Trump is also expected to push Congress to pass more funding for border security. But this big speech comes amid some deep divisions over the administration's major moves so far.
Weeks into a whirlwind second term in office, President Trump will address Congress and the country with the economy in focus. It comes on the day 25% tariffs went in effect overnight on the nation's two biggest trading partners, Canada and Mexico.
It's a very powerful weapon.
U.S. stocks slid sharply Monday, with economists warning that the price of everything from food to lumber to new cars could go up.
There is little doubt that consumers will feel the pain of this.
Yesterday, the president teased he'll also discuss Ukraine, days after his Oval Office clash with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
You don't have the cards.
CBS News has confirmed the White House has paused military aid to Ukraine, even as President Trump pushes for a peace deal with Russia and an economic agreement to mine Ukraine's earth minerals.
I think everybody has to get into a room, so to speak, and we have to make a deal.
President Trump's domestic agenda is expected to be front and center tonight, including stepped-up immigration enforcement and sweeping efforts to shrink the size of the federal government.
White House officials say billionaire Elon Musk will be among the guests in the room amid growing anger over mass federal worker firings and cuts advocated through the Department of Government Efficiency.
When did Elon Musk get the power?
Several congressional Democrats say they're split over whether or not to attend. Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin will deliver their party's formal response.
And a number of Democratic lawmakers, including Senator Slotkin, have invited recently fired federal workers as their special guests tonight, including fired veterans. Lawmakers say they want to raise awareness about their stories, concerns about how the federal workers have been treated, and also highlight their concerns about impacts of these widespread cuts. Errol.
All right, Natalie, thank you for that. China responded immediately to the new U.S. levies, announcing it too would put additional tariffs in place. CBS News foreign correspondent Anna Coren joins us now from Beijing to talk more about that. Anna, great to see you. China seeming to target food imports from the U.S. as part of its response. Tell us what else they're targeting.
Yeah, that's right, Errol. Agricultural products. That is U.S. farmers. That is predominantly President Trump's base. So this is where it is going to hurt the president. But China, is refusing to back down. Shortly after the extra 10% tariffs came into effect, China responded with those retaliatory tariffs, 10 to 15% on agricultural and food products. And they are certainly projecting a position of power. They certainly seem more confident this time round compared to the first trade war back in 2018. I think that's something that is really important to note, that over the years, China has been preparing for this moment and has been working to diversify its trade and its trading partners. Now, President Trump, he obviously claims that China has not been doing enough to stem the flow of fentanyl into the United States. This is obviously something that he has said that Canada and Mexico are guilty of as well. China says that that is a complete ruse, that this is not true, that this is President Trump trying to get the upper hand for this upcoming trade deal, that the Chinese are hopeful will eventually happen. I did speak to Victor Gao, who is head of a think tank here in China, of China and Globalization, and he believes that President Trump is weaponizing tariffs and that China's response is firm, but that it is fair, that it's measured. And the reason, he says, is that China doesn't want to blow the whole thing up, that they too want to get to the negotiating table and work out a deal. But before I wrap on this question, Errol, I should mention something that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said late this afternoon. And this is very strong language, I think, coming out of Beijing. It says, if the US persists in waging a tariff war, a trade war, or any other kind of war, the Chinese side will fight to the bitter end. Errol.
Very clear response there. And as you mentioned, Anna, perhaps this is jockeying ahead of an eventual deal of some other type down the line. Anna Coren joining us live from Beijing. Thank you. And stay with CBS News 24/7 all day for continuing coverage of the president's address to Congress. And be sure to join us at 5 p.m. Eastern for a special edition of America Decides.